Hey, it's Don Taylor with Franchise Success Partners, and I've invited our friend Carrie Gilly back, president of Franchise Fastlane, to cover another very important topic. And that topic is, what does it take to be successful as a emerging brand franchisee? So now we're on the franchisee side. So hi, Carrie. Thank you for joining
Hi,
us.
good to be back, Don.
So Franchise Fastlane, Carrie has been a franchisee. She's been on the franchisor side, now Franchise Fastlane, and she's been co-founders of several others. The short of that is she's a serial entrepreneur. She's been around this for a while. Your company, very picky about the types of businesses that you'll bring in and help to grow. Tell me about that.
You're exactly right. Very selective. In fact, you know what we're looking for, Don? We have coined it now the next big thing. We are looking for the next big thing in franchising. And that is hard. I mentioned on our last interview, I talked to 150 brands to find 7 in 2020. You have to find a brand that is equipped and ready for that franchisee, because these franchisees, most of them have been in corporate America for 30 plus years, and they approach franchising with some fear. They're looking for a system they can plug into. They're willing to work hard and they bring expertise in business, but they're looking for a system they can plug into, feel supported, and experience success as a part of a team. Otherwise, they would just go to a startup, right? They would just start their own company.
Yeah, absolutely. Your process really seems to be one of the most impactful things that you add to these brands. So can you walk us through a little bit of that and how really it's directed to the candidate and making sure that they have great education?
It is. We do build a process with the candidate in mind because it's so important. Again, these people come in and most of them have been in corporate America for most of their career, if not all of their career. And they're looking at a rewriting chapter 2. They're looking at a big life change. And in many cases, that means taking out an SBA loan, or it means rolling over their retirement so they can invest in their future as a business owner. And we know that's scary. We know that's a big move. So I think this process needs to clearly educate them so they know exactly what they're getting into, removing and addressing all questions and addressing all fears. So you're right. We go through a 6-week series of calls. We bring them in. We go through an introductory call. They're live on the phone with an expert from that brand, a brand director from Franchise Fastlane. We move straight into unit economics, where we go through all the financials, exactly what you can expect in terms of investing in the brand, what you can look at for earnings. We pull out item 19, which is the earnings summary in the franchise disclosure document. We go through all of that in detail. We talk about the team and how they're going to find the team. We move from there into the FDD and we walk through the FDD, all the different items of the FDD, because this can be an overwhelming document. Whereas the truth is, when you break it down and you talk about the different items and what they mean, here's your leadership. Here's the number of franchisees in the system today. Here's where you find out if this brand's ever been through any litigation, right? It is all in the FDD for them. So we walk through it step by step. If we feel like we have a fit between the franchisee and the brand, we then invite them to what we call confirmation day. And that's a fun experience for the prospect because they get to fly in after studying the brand for weeks. They get to fly in, they get to experience the brand in person. If it's a fitness brand, we'll work out together. If it's a food brand, we'll eat together. If it's a beauty brand, we'll have a facial or a manicure or a pedicure. If it's a home service brand, we'll stop by some of the jobs and we'll see the gutters being installed or the house being painted or the insulation going into the home. And so we will let them experience the brand. And then we'll have a series of presentations so they can see marketing, ops, training. How am I going to be supported? The brand will approve them as a franchisee or deny them if they don't feel like they're a fit. So it's very much a mutual, they choose each other mutually. And then they get to move forward into closing. But you're right. By the time they get to that point of decision I want all questions removed. Even by the time they're coming to confirmation day, our goal is really to make sure that's confirmation of a decision they've already made just studying the brand. Right. We don't want any surprises for them at confirmation day.
Yeah, absolutely. All roads are going to lead to a yes or no. There's nothing wrong with either. It's just about making a great decision.
Absolutely.
So here's the question that they all want to know, Carrie, is what does it take for them? What are some characteristics that the brands are looking for in these franchisees that want to join an emerging brand?
Yes. My favorite quote in the whole Webster's dictionary is my favorite definition, I should say. I'm sorry. My favorite definition in the entire Webster's dictionary is the definition for vision. And vision definition is a clear and compelling picture of a preferable future. And I think the reason that I was drawn to that is my background was startup. And then I sold a startup to a Fortune 500 company. So my initial career, I went from knowing nothing but startups to landing in a large organization. And when I finally spent my time there and found franchising years later, I was amazed because I felt like it was both. I felt like it was the opportunity to be a business owner, which is that preferable future we all dream about.
Right.
But it also had the compelling picture. It also had definitions, somebody to help you with marketing and training and ops. And sometimes people get stuck on one part of that definition or the other. I like my defined future. I like my 2% raise every year, my vacation, my benefits, all that.
Right.
I wish I could own my own company, but I'm too comfortable here. Or
Yeah.
they're over here where they live without that help and they have to figure out marketing and training and legalese and all of that by themselves. And franchising offers both. It offers vision. And so I think as a franchisee, that's something you have to seek. You have to be after vision in your life. What is that clear and compelling picture of a preferable future? So that's number one. You have to seek your vision and your passion. And number two, you have to have grit. Oh,
Right.
you have to have grit. We have a core value at Franchise Fastlane that is be gritty, be hungry, bring it. You have to have a do what it takes personality. I think it was Henry Ford that said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Whether you believe you can
That's right.
or you can't, you're right. And I think in franchising, even though one of the benefits is you are going to plug and play with a process, hopefully a brand that's really defined that. If you're not willing to work hard, if you're not really to roll up your sleeves and get dirty with that team, grassroots marketing, plug in, I don't care how good the system, you will not succeed. So you have to have grit. And then number three, and this one's important, I really do think you have to be very willing to follow process.
Yeah.
If you like to come in and blow it up, probably franchising is not right for you. You probably should be looking to start your own company. This one's all about process. There's experts who have come before you. They thought about the right digital marketing. They thought about the right site selection and where you should be and what demographics you're after. And so it's really important that you can come in and look at the process that's already been established and follow that process and that pattern for success, because that's what franchising is all about. So I think you need to have vision, you need to have grit, and you need to be willing to follow a process.
100%. And in the rare circumstances when I've seen a franchisee get involved in a system and it just didn't work out, the two things that I've seen, Carrie, is number one, they didn't follow the system.
Yep.
They paid and invested so heavily into.
And then didn't even
number
follow it.
two, they weren't capitalized correctly. And as a consultant, I feel that's part of my job is to help them get prepared that way, introduce them to a lender, make sure that we're showing them opportunities that they can, invest in appropriately to help them be successful. So who better to share with us what it takes to be successful as a franchisee with an emerging franchise brand? Carrie, thanks again for your time. I know how busy you are. We really appreciate you coming by.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Great to see you.